Yo, what is going on, beautiful people? We are back. Another episode of Respect the Game podcast. And fellas, I don't know about y'all, but I know when we was looking for a name, I think with the content that we've been putting out, it kind of would be befitting at this point to put future leaders in podcasting, since we have been telling the future with our sports.
Damn.
I'm just putting that out there. Audience, fans, our viewers, our listeners, new people, make sure you're following us. We have some great sports takes that Christian, he's a prophet on certain things. He's a prophet on certain things. And I mean, like I said, man, I ain't saying Shannon Sharpe is biting my takes, but I am saying you can get Hall of Fame analysis on the Respect the Game podcast.
Yeah, now he's watching this. I'm convinced Shannon Sharpe watching Respect the Game podcast.
That's fair. I wouldn't deny that. I wouldn't deny that. But yo, my name is Edward. I don't believe I said this last week, but if you're a new listener, the reason my name is Edward is because I'm named after a great man. And you know by now, if you're not following at Emax Stacks for all your up-to-date sports coverage, shame on you. But as always, it's not just me on this podcast. I ain't nothing without my brothers on here. So, fellas, y'all introduce yourself to the people.
Sean Hart is, man, intellectual hood excellence at its finest, man. Giving you intellectual takes, the breaks, the makes, and everything that you can take. You know what I'm saying?
This is Coach Johnson here. I am the husband of Jordan. I am the father of Harper and Deuce. And I am here to bring the controversy. I'm here to make you think a little harder and help you see the game just a little bit better.
Hi, everybody. I'm Master Baker, the one and only. On behalf of me and the brothers, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. Please continue to tune in and take it away, my guy.
No, Darnell dropped out, bro.
Yeah. All right, Darnell. We about to get going. D, introduce yourself to the people, bro. And we can't hear you because you came on here yet again another week with your microphone and your headphones, trying to be fancy, and I look better.
Trying to flex on us.
Can't hear you.
That's what you get for trying to flex on your brothers.
Okay, now we can.
No, hey, if he came on time.
Oh no, this is Black Peace hosting of Talking Smoke. Also with Respect the Game podcast here live and direct. You know, let you know how we doing it.
Right on. So a little quick analysis of our rundown for y'all listening. We about to get it. First, talk about a little bit of politics with the inauguration coming up on Wednesday of this week. We talked about it after last week's show, but we didn't really talk about it on air just in terms of like the riders and stuff like that on Capitol Hill. We're going to get into a little bit of Kyrie finally coming back with the Nets. Also, James Harden is with the Nets. He's been balling out of control. I know Houston fans probably in their feelings about that, but we definitely going to talk about that. And lo and behold, please, if you are an NFL fan, we have a spectacular rundown for you when we get to the talking about the NFL playoffs. So, but first, yeah, I know Christian and Darnell, y'all talked about it a little bit. Like I said, after last week's episode, but during the presidential campaign and all that, you heard people say a lot, you have to get Trump out of office because like he represents like this certain stigma, because there's a group of people out there in the world, in America, that like they see Trump gives them the belief that they can do whatever, whenever, however, and just be overtly racist out against anybody and however they want to go about it. And sometimes, like, I know a lot, I feel like most of the time, like around election time, I have the personal belief that if people couldn't take a picture and hashtag I voted and get their sticker, they wouldn't really care to vote. So sometimes I be feeling like everything surrounded around like elections or whatever, like people just be talking just to be talking or just to get a retweet or whatever the case may be. But when people were saying what they were saying about Trump, like I heard them and I feel where they was coming from. But like when you saw it like happen on like Capitol Hill, it's like it's different when like you just like it's in your face. Like you can't deny that.
Shit got
real. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, for me when I started it, I felt like that was just like white privilege of like, I know it was a few like specks of black people, but like predominantly like white privilege of like to the maximum, because I don't think, you know, a black person in their right mind would feel like they would have the power to do that in any kind of way and not be brutally assaulted, if not chitty chitty bang bang. But yeah, so that's how I feel when I seen that. And with the inauguration coming up, I know Trump is saying he's not gonna be there. His wife isn't gonna be there also, even though that's supposed to be like something like it's passing of the torch from one president to another. But one of the things I remember you saying last week, Christian, is that like this is just the beginning. Like, don't think just because Trump is like supposed to be leaving office that it's gonna go away. Like, there's still gonna be like people gonna still be fighting, kicking, and scratching. Which we kind of seen that with the rioting on Capitol Hill. Like, touch on it just a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a few things you said there. I'm not gonna touch on everything because I know we want to be quick on this. But my comment that I was talking to Donnell about. The segment of Trump voters or MAGA voters that would be the type to participate in a riot like that, the type that gets up at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings and goes and trains in the woods, you know, with you know, AR-15s and stuff like that. Those type of people. It is a small faction of Trump voters, but it is a significant faction, and those people are angry about different things in the country. Now, because you know, I am the one resident Republican on the podcast, so I do know some of these people. Not all of them are racist. Not all of them have antipathy because of race issues. There are other issues there, but the way they feel the country is going, the way they feel that the country is leaving them, you know, them in their particular class of people, how they're looked down upon, they have a particular anger towards the country, and so they looked at President Trump as someone who was fighting for them. With him off the stage, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going away. I think that their anger is, though I think it's very misplaced. I think it's just hitting the tipping point. And so there've actually been a lot of political scientists and you know, people who look into these things who've been writing about this for the last like 2 or 3 years and have kind of foreshadowed that this would actually happen, and that, you know, it's probably going to get even worse. So you know, I think this is, you know, this is just the beginning. Unfortunately, hopefully there's nothing that happens at the inauguration. You know, there's a lot of security. I live up here in the DC area. There's a lot of security here right now. So hopefully we won't have any more of this crap. But I mean, man, we have a great country, man. We get to talk about sports, you know, and, you know, people get paid millions of dollars to play child's games here in this country. And, you know, there's a reason for that. So we don't need to have anyone here that wants to try to tear that down in any shape or fashion. And so,
gentlemen, do y'all have any short take to enhance that conversation? If not, great. Okay. So,
then Donnell was trying to say so.
Oh, you got something to say, D?
The thing about it is, what I'm trying to figure out is, what was this same idea and understanding in the summer? That's what people are trying to wrap their minds around. It's not even about the fight now. If this would have, let's say a few other things wouldn't have happened. You know what? Forget that. Let's give this summer away. Let's say this summer didn't happen. And these people go to this certain point where they do this stuff on the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
They could have gotten maybe an even playing field. They could have gotten maybe they're upset, but due to the fact of the way people were treated in the summer for actual human life, rather than possibilities and predictions and theories and, you know, conspiracies, they're actually doing for people that actually lived and died. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it just looks at like, okay, how does this make it any different? You know what I'm saying? How does people's life matter versus conspiracies? Why does that actually look so right upon is what I believe any person of my situation is trying to figure out.
And
Why is
Darnell,
it okay?
I feel like you're not even, to be quite honest, I just think it's even raw emotion behind it, in the sense of
bedtime for kids.
These people are being called rioters. I think a more fitting word would be savage, anarchy, terrorists. That's exactly the phrase I would use. It is domestic terrorism at its finest. What they did was unconstitutional. A F1 felony, if I'm not mistaken, even stepping foot on a government building which you have no authorization to even. Come on now, man. Like, and these people, first off, you commit a burglary and habitation of a federal building. I'm pretty sure that's a felony 1.
Yeah.
And that's a federal offense.
So he gave you the most, I'm giving you the least.
With minimum of maybe, and I'm guessing, I'm very much so guessing at this, but very much so around 10 years. Like, but because of the color of their skin, it gets called and I'll let you speak, Christian, but like because of the color of their skin, it gets called, a riot or a protest. This wasn't a protest. This was a blatant mob, gang, and or terroristic group that convoluted and really conspired to go ahead and commit felony offenses against the greater liberties of our collective nation. And I think it's being literally swept under the rug and like almost being demagnetized in a sense of what this actually was. And I don't think they're being called out enough on it. And if I'm not mistaken, they're not even being punished.
Well, no,
they are. The FBI is, they're conducting searches, but come on, man.
No,
It took the police 3 hours to get there.
Okay. All right. Let me put some facts up for everybody. One, people are being arrested, right? People are being found. 2, there's a few reasons why there wasn't enough police presence there at the Capitol. Reason number 1, when the federal troops were requested to go in, right? There was a request prior to that day to have federal troops there to help out the Capitol Police. The mayor of DC requested that they did not come there, right? She didn't want extra federal police presence, right? This is a pattern that she and other mayors have done when it comes to federal presence in the midst of protests. The same didn't happen in the summer. Second, there was an F-up between President Trump and the Secretary of Defense. And once things started to go haywire in getting the National Guard down there, right? So there was a lack of
protest, though. I think that's like kind of like my whole point. Like,
well, I'm saying it started
transition from protest.
It started out as a protest. Right? There were small groups of people inside. There were thousands of people in Washington that day, right? At the protests, and then there was a few hundred people that were the rioters, the domestic terrorists, as you want to call. And you're right.
You wouldn't agree?
Huh?
You wouldn't agree that their acts were very domestic terrorist?
I didn't disagree with you.
Okay.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. I'm saying, but what you're saying that you're getting mad if you call it protest. There was a protest that day.
Initially, right.
There was a protest. There were a small group of people within that protest, right, who did come there to do harm, right.
Bring us home.
Okay, people call rioters, all other stuff. But the difference in how they were treated that day, right, and why they were able to do so much was because there was a lack of police presence by an F-up by the DC mayor and an F-up by Trump and the Secretary of Defense, right? So it wasn't as if the police that day were trying not to enforce the law, right? Now, there were a few, right? Because you see all, there are some cops
that turned their head while all of this was going on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, but for the most part, though, you had officers there who died trying to serve their duty, trying to do their duty, right? You had officers there who were putting up barricades, who were trying to arrest people, who were trying to do what they could, but they were overwhelmed because they didn't have enough police force, right? And so that was an F up by the DC mayor, by Trump, and by the Secretary of Defense.
Great conversation.
So I don't get it. What's the point? No, I don't get it. What's the point?
What's the point? So I'm trying to let people know that everyone goes, if these were black people, it would have been different, right?
They would have died. The police officer wouldn't have died. The police officer would have shot and killed black people. But these police officers
a white lady
died.
was shot and killed. A white lady was shot and killed that day.
One white lady was shot and killed.
An Air Force
How many policemen died?
I think three police officers died.
Bro, so I think what we're saying is it would have been drastically different.
I know what you're trying to say, Sadation.
It would have been dramatically different. There's no disagreement. There's no going against that.
Okay, we're not going to get anywhere on this conversation, but I'm just saying it wouldn't have been because the police force was there was not enough police presence there that day for all the activity that was going on. Okay.
All right. That's the end of that conversation because we're going in circles. All right. Moving on.
But okay, we're gonna move on.
Basketball. So
a little bit 2 police officers blasting off on niggas left and right. Bad boy style.
Hey, that Kyrie Irving is something else.
You got them niggas over there. I got these niggas over here. Blasting off.
I don't know if you're gonna show up for the game or not.
It would have been 10 off on
Live in Israel, I'll totally feel y'all though.
It would have been a zombie apocalypse of niggas with 2 officers.
Yes, sir.
That would have been bloodshed. But yeah, go ahead with the basketball.
Yeah, I feel your sentiments, Sedacious. But moving on to basketball, the biggest news right now, I would say, well, it's fair to say that's the biggest news. James Harden, he starts off his career as a Brooklyn Net with a 30-point triple-double. And I think something that has went completely understated is that also in that game, Kevin Durant had 42 points in that game.
They breathe both of those. They breathe that shit.
Exactly, bro.
They breathe that shit.
Exactly, bro.
30.
Here's what I say. Here's what I say about the Brooklyn Nets. Something I was thinking about and watching like Kevin, and I also watched them against the yesterday against the Milwaukee Bucks. What I think I think they're in a beautiful position off the simple fact that it's still very early in the season, and you're not getting a James Harden in February at the trade deadline and then having to use February to March right before the playoffs to try to figure out, all right, our system and how we want to implement you. Yes, James Harden and Kevin Durant as well as Kyrie Irving is instant offense, but I think that's just like on paper, right? So I think they're in a beautiful situation because you get all 3 of these players very early in the season, and they get to cultivate that chemistry and whatever Steve Nash is going to make that system flourish into being, which I think is going to make them very dangerous and scary. I'll just say this is slightly off topic. I don't know if somebody on that team is hurt or not, but people are like still making
Spencer Dinwiddie is hurt.
No, I wasn't talking about the Nets. I was talking about the Heat. What I was gonna get to was people are consistently year after year still making like the Bucks and the 76ers to be the favorite for whatever reason.
I don't understand. You know what? I was thinking I was actually thinking the same thing a year ago.
But what I was saying is what the reason I said that is to say this. I don't know if somebody is hurt on the injury or something with the Heat, but I don't know why they being disrespected right now. Like I know the Nets would be the favorite over the Heat, But like, let's stop disrespecting the Heat and like trying to put the 76. I don't know if this because Miami is a relatively bigger market.
Other than wait, real quick. Other than Tyler Hero, there's nothing exciting about the Miami Heat. Exciting.
Duncan Robinson in the top 3.
Exciting.
What do you mean?
Yes, sir. But exciting.
Listen to his words. He's saying exciting. Go, Darnell.
Exactly. Think about that.
Winning is exciting.
You don't see the Heat and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch that Heat game. Hell yeah. No, you want to watch the Lakers. You want to watch even the Warriors over them. You want to see some razzle dazzle at the end of the game.
Brother, in all due respect, I believe that's completely subjective because I actually enjoy a Tyler Hero's game, which is downhill at times,
look
which
at
is
you.
very finesse off the dribble. But I'm saying, and I enjoy Jimmy Butler, and they play a style of basketball that's beautiful to the eye. They move the ball, and they got players that can play.
So whose eye, though?
I like pick and roll with Dragic down. I like pick and roll with Jimmy down.
That's a whole basketball team right there. Like literally, they love basketball. They're like the new age Spurs minus the coaching. You're gonna get the bucket.
No.
Not exciting to watch.
No, they're not no damn Spurs of these. You sound foolish. You sound smart.
Are you serious?
So what is it? You say
they still got coaches. Who they in Miami? Do you know what's in San Antonio?
I really just threw a curveball in there. I was thinking about it earlier, and I wanted to bring it up. I started. I know we went to the Heat with me starting off with James Harden. That's my fault. That's completely my fault.
So what you're saying is,
real like, but just the
76ers. When it comes to the 76ers, I agree with you. The Miami Heat should not be disrespected when it comes to the 76ers because who in the fuck are they? Who gives a fuck about a Doc Rivers acquired? I don't. So Doc Rivers ain't gonna make the 76ers no better unless they put some real shit around Joel Embiid. And I fuck with Ben Simmons, but he ain't real shit.
You don't have to put real stuff around that. I'm tired of them trying to. We just need people. No, we need Ben Simmons to be who we think he is.
And he hasn't in 4 years. Bye-bye.
Get a fucking jump shot or die.
Bye-bye.
And I don't mean die in physical sense. I'm saying like literally from a metaphor.
But getting back on topic,
like
James Harden.
Jump shot or die, man.
I said what I had to say. I think they're in a great situation because they get to cultivate their chemistry early on in the season as opposed to late in the season. I think it's fair to make them like favorites to come out of the East. But how do y'all feel about James Harden finally leaving Houston and like I guess his first 2 performances thus far?
I'll go ahead and get my short take out the way. I believe it was very telling from how excited he was and how expressive he was and how he described his teammates and how he said, you know, it's easy when you're playing with really, really good players, which was, you know, almost like a subconscious, not even a subliminal dig, but an outright disrespectful dig at John Wall and Boogie Cousins. And not to mention the Christian Wood, who is quite literally front runner for most improved player of the year. And which I did predict on this podcast that he was going to average 20 and 10. Y'all can go look up the clips prior to. I did call this because I think he averaged 14 in Detroit. It just wasn't cameras and nobody was watching Detroit because they didn't have any nationally televised games. But all I say is James Harden looks happy again. He looks like a kid in a candy store, quite literally. But he actually don't even look like a kid in a candy store no more, fat ass. He actually looks in shape.
I'm gonna let you go, Daniel.
To be quite honest, so
the Rockets fan.
I think he looks happy.
I'm gonna let you go, bro. You the Rockets fan. I'm gonna save mine.
I ain't hurt no more because I was doing this shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I feel. Goodbye.
You know, I'm a little bit of both, to be honest with y'all, bro. I'm a little bit of how Isaac feel, but yeah, at the same time, I'm like a real Rockets fan. At the end of the day, it's like, damn, like that. Like, we will honorably discharge you if you were to do the right ways and said the right shit and went through the right process. But you want to actually cry like a fucking baby. That's the shit that irritates me and pretty much every Rockets fan. But at the end of the day, what we have to realize is, as Rocket fans, that he plateaued. He plateaued after the regular season. After that regular season, you can't expect him to carry you to the win. He's going to get his buckets. He's going to get his stats, but he's not going to carry you to the promised land. They put it on his shoulders 1,000,001 times. He cannot do it.
Shaq said it the most concise, I believe, with his point on TNT when he said, you know, he gave the city everything he had and he went through the 5 or the elimination games throughout his Rockets career and how he was quite literally below. He wasn't even below 500. He was like below 300 in elimination games as far as winning percentage goes. He just didn't get it done when it mattered the most, and that's all Shaq was saying. He had a G14 classification to talk about it. He said, "Man, when we need you the most, you don't show up those games. So no, you didn't give us everything you had, brother."
Exactly.
I love and respect you, though.
Or maybe he
But
did
you
give
didn't.
everything.
And that
Or
was
maybe
the
he
problem.
just did it. He just ain't him like that. Because if you see last night, he missed a game winner, a potential go-ahead bucket, got the rebound, and had to get the kick out to who? Kevin Durant. And we know
I
that man
think
is a shot maker.
James Harden has reached that place where Kevin Durant was when he finally was like, I gotta leave OKC. It's not gonna happen here. And I feel like James Harden
Can I say something?
Yes and no.
It ain't the same.
But because it was the circumstances he created. He had so
Kevin
much
Durant
more
did
and so
everything
much
he wanted.
input in that franchise, opposite of what Deshaun Watson had with the Texans. They ran every personnel decision by James. And that's quite literally how they got in the funk that they got in. Shaq also said, hey, you wanted Dwight Howard. We got him mute. Didn't work. We got you Chris Paul. You wanted him. It didn't work. We even got you your boy, Little League brother from way back, Russell. It didn't work.
There's a common denominator.
You're the common denominator in all these situations, James. You're the common denominator.
I can't root for a guy that don't play D. Say it again.
No, I was just saying go.
Oh, so me. All right, yeah. So I'm finally glad he gone. To be honest with you, I can finally root for the home team again because like y'all was obnoxious with that nigga. Like after year 3, continuing to pay him with no production and it's just like, come on, man.
Don't talk loose when you say stuff like that. You say no production.
Continuing to pay him and he can't beat Golden State.
But who beat Golden State?
That was before Golden
State. Exactly. What we talking about? What we talking about?
That was simultaneous.
We talking about the best of the best, or we talking about like some second place people?
And I really think we would have had a chance to win. We would have won that series had Chris Paul not pulled his hamstring.
That's not going back.
I cried after that game.
I know.
I did, and I'm not too proud to say
I'm with you.
A sad day in my house in college that day. I remember like it was yesterday. I was 23 years old, and it was supposed to come full circle.
Chris Paul could have.
They let me down.
Chris Paul could have.
And the thing about it is, if James Harden's so great and they put him such on a big pedestal, and the reason why it's so bittersweet is because when Chris Paul went down, James Harden was supposed to be good enough to like carry 2 games worth. 1 out of 2 games.
Supposed to be Kobe.
1 out of 2 fucking games.
It's like, I think my biggest gripe, and I mean it's kind of the same things. Like he didn't get the job done when it mattered most. I just felt like his 3-ball was so no free promotion and advertising. Darnell, they ain't paying that shit.
When Andrew Bynum went down in 2008,
my bad. I
Kobe
got you.
Bryant went up against them 3 gargantuans alone, and he still could have won that hoe.
But no, this is what I was going to say. His 3-ball, like it was non-existent when you really needed him to, like, you know what I'm saying, to like really hit those daggers. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they go in, they pretty, but when he missing them, it feels like he bailing out when he take jumpers in late game situations when you know he could dance and get to the cup. But
he is bailing out.
I think
he is bailing out. It's not a scene to it.
Oh no, because you know what he can do now? All he can do is just score. Period. When that team is in full throttle, all he can do now is score. The thing he's been praying
and
to do.
That's all he want to worry about. I don't think he cares to quote unquote be the man. He's got an MVP. He people respect him, and he's been a leading scorer. Bro, if all I can do is get buckets, I'm just gonna have a field day. And I think that's what he wants.
Bro. James Harden already has had a Hall of Fame career. All he needs now is the championship validation.
That's it.
He has all the individual accolades there is to have. Perennial All-Star year in, year out, MVP award winner, most improved.
It's gonna be the greatest
3-time scoring, champion.
James Harden's a real my player right now. Apparently, he's trying to be a real.
Charles Barkley, AI, James Harden, whole bunch of niggas that was cold.
Hey, there's other niggas you could have used. Don't
disrespect AI.
he's in the club.
I know.
What Sedacious is saying is real. It may not sound pretty.
These are the facts.
I know. It's facts,
I know. It just
like AI.
But no, look, AI gets championship love though. AI gets ring love.
I'm just saying.
It's a touchy subject. Touch a subject.
Push the conversation.
And I know
Push the
he's
conversation
right because
forward.
AI stayed in Philly. He stayed in Philly. He ain't go nowhere.
Yeah.
As long as he
So
could.
somebody else on James Harden
Yeah,
team,
bro.
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is like obviously had went. I wouldn't say missing. He had kind of just had to step away or whatever for like the past 8 games. He's recently come back today. Today is Tuesday. We filming this and kind of talk to the media. I don't know if y'all got a chance to listen to his sentiment and like where his headspace was at. But what I took from it was, I don't feel like Kyrie was really in like a fuck you media or my team mind state. I just think that everything that was going on in the summer, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all of that went on with that, I feel like he's somebody who really took it to heart. And once, the cameras and everything went away, he was still dealing and feeling like he had a responsibility to make change. And what he was saying in his press conference today with the media on returning, I feel like when the season started, Kyrie heart was still heavy and dealing with that. And he probably, I guess, maybe bit off more than he could chew in terms of trying to do this and trying to do that and help these people and he'll help do that. It came out that he brought help along with whoever. He didn't announce who the people was, but he played a part in helping George Floyd's family get a house. Obviously, he did a lot of charitable work, paying for the WNBA players' salaries who wanted to sit out the season due to COVID. And it just sounded like a dude who always heavy with trying to deal with social justice issues, and he, didn't really know basketball wasn't his outlet. You know what I'm saying? He had to step away to get his mind right. And so for people who are out there, I felt where he was coming from in terms of just feeling overwhelmed with so much responsibility. So for people out there who trying to like write him off or say he's aloof or flat earth, I think y'all should really like check yourself and respect.
And really
Kyrie
fuck with
for
him
what
on
he-
his flat earth take, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. We can get into that.
Please.
Yeah, what is your reaction, Darnell?
No, he said we can get into
I said we can
another
get
day.
into it another
He
day,
said
bro,
we can
because
get into
he is not. The man is.
Yeah, but I'm glad to
He's
see
very
Kyrie back.
intelligent.
Yeah, very much so. I'm glad to see Kyrie back. Salute to him for what he's been doing off the, I would just say football field because I'm anxious for football, but salute to him for what he's been doing off the basketball field. And I hope that whatever his process was in terms of like dealing with the anxiety or feeling the pressure of off the court issues, whatever his process was to like overcome that, or maybe probably still working through that, I would definitely like to see some insight because I think it could help other people out there in the world who deal with, anxiety or feeling overwhelmed and having a lot on their plate. So yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes I feel like the world has a struggle with separating what a person does to entertain you from their real life, what they have to deal with, what they have to go through to actually be the best at entertaining you. And we don't really be giving a fuck about what you got to go through. Nigga, just show up and be Kyrie every night. That's what we want. We can give a fuck about what you're going through and really, that's really disheartening and that's really insensitive as fuck. And you should want to care about the people who bring you happiness. You should want their mental state to be in the best position when they come and try to give you the best of them, bro, like that. And I feel like that's an obligation that we owe each other in mankind as humans. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Because God forbid, I know it's a bit extreme, but God forbid Kyrie was so far gone mentally and he, did something to harm himself. Immediately, everybody in their mind would swear up and down, he's this, he's that, he's disrespectful. No, he's such a great person.
Oh, my God.
Exactly. The fake love would have been real.
Allow people to be human. Allow people to be human. I don't care what their profession is. Let them be human. Period.
It's okay to not be okay.
And people process emotions differently. Everybody doesn't have to have the same emotional response as you. That is what makes us individuals.
Bro, what pisses me off, bro, is that we've known Kyrie to have some type of mental something since the early stages of his career.
He don't have any mental anything, though.
Bro,
just because a man is an enigma and he is different.
Right. So
he's outspoken about himself.
We've known that from the get. We've known all of that, what he said. We've known that from the get. So why now,
he marches to a different
year whatever, we decide, Oh, what is Kyrie on? What is he doing? Bro, he business. What are you talking about? It's like the Kanye West argument. It's like, bro, why are y'all saying this about Kanye right now, dog? Real Kanye fans been listening to this nigga music and been knowing he been having this pain a long time ago. Suck a dick. Move around.
Hey, we're time on that just like that. It gets us a
Pretty
football
much.
before we not have too much time to talk about football.
I apologize.
Shout out to Live on
if you're
that
listening
shit.
somewhere.
Huh?
And Angelique and Eva, if y'all listening somewhere, I apologize for my language.
Oh no, fuck all that. Salute that shit. Kill you, honey.
Y'all turn y'all cameras so I know y'all girls not looking.
Yeah, we're gonna let you bugging, B.
Hey, all I want to say is I second Sedacious take just now.
I seconded it first. I'm just playing.
Yeah, well, I turned
Respect
it.
the
I like
game
the vision.
podcast.
After he's second in mine, he can't. You know what?
Respect the game.
Hey, we agree of everything.
We agree, bro. We agree.
Stay ahead of the game.
Hey, yo, all right, baby. It's time to talk some football. And I've been struggling. I've been battling with myself all day on if I want to argue with Coach Johnson or not. But first,
bro, you know I'm
healthy
right.
debate. You know, I've been struggling if I want to pick Coach Johnson's mind today. But first and foremost, I went 4-0 in the divisional week of the playoffs. So I don't know. I thought I was gonna get a party, but apparently not.
Apparently not.
Yeah, good job, nigga.
What's your overall record?
We'll open up the floor like this, right? So, I went 4-0, and where I stood alone with the pick that pretty much got me 4-0 is the Baltimore Ravens and the Bills game. Darnell, we'll cut to you first since you closed your eyes with such whatever that was.
Fucking disgust, Mega Mind.
Yeah, let's like. I mean, I know
Hating
we're
on the
gonna
grown
get on
man.
that
That's all right.
conversation. Don't let it up. Yeah. Oh, here, real quick, we're gonna get to it to the preview. Well, no, I'm gonna save it. Sedacious has a Josh Allen, miraculous tape, and it's going to send us out of here with the podcast. We're gonna take off after it comes to fruition. But real quick, because I know we're gonna keep staying on like the game and then Lamar. Darnell, why did you have so much faith in the Baltimore Ravens?
I had faith in players getting better, man. I'm real big on people learning from their mistakes. I feel like last year was the stop of him being one-dimensional. Yeah, the season's the season. They get you by. But I thought during postseason, he learned, because I seen him last year. The dude was heartbroken. He was like a kid that lost his puppy. I swear. You can see him on that sideline. Done. And I really thought after that experience, it was one that I was like, all right, I know what I need to do. I need to get better. And, well.
Sedacious, I know why you didn't pick the Bills, so I'm not gonna ask you.
Please don't.
Isaac, last week when I shared my sentiment about Lamar Jackson, you told me that you agreed with my sentiment about Lamar Jackson and my take on him. Even though you agree with my take on Lamar Jackson, why did you still pick the Ravens over the Bills?
On a personal level, I thought I'm about to answer your question. I just had an immense amount of faith that the defense would make enough explosive and disruptive plays that can like tilt the ball game, maybe some timely picks, some timely forced fumbles, or some timely sacks, that'll really just flip field position or, put them in an advantageous situation to score. Unfortunately, those were few and hard to come by. I'm not afraid to admit that, I was wrong on the take. I don't think Josh Allen looked particularly Peyton Manning-esque, as this dude love to just point out. If you ain't Peyton Manning, you fucking suck. But he didn't just have an outstanding performance. I just think Lamar had a costly pick six, that really kind of just changed the tide of the whole game. And once that pick six happened, they were never really, able to recover. So, the Bills played a hell of a game, man. They played hellacious on defense. They played a hell of a game.
So, Coach Johnson,
Sir.
if you are a true listeners to the podcast, you know the ongoing debate and which sides we all lean on with certain teams and certain players. But I do remember you saying last week, most of your picks, with your picks, because you were 1-3, even though you're the coach of all of us. Your picks are really just based off like Blockbuster weekend. Like you were, but to that, so like I know it wasn't two X's and O's in terms of your pick, but I know you was wrong or whatever. But like, speak to the X's and O's of why you think Lamar or the Ravens. I want to just say the Ravens fell to the Bills.
I think his own wisdom got in his way. I think he really overanalyzed it. I know. I should say him.
Yeah.
I feel like he overanalyzed.
Isaac is probably right. We'll talk about the Bills right now. The Bills and the Ravens. The reason why I chose the Ravens was because we all understood that the best thing they do is they run the football, right? And the Bills had not shown all year that they were great against the run. They were about middle of the road. And Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor combined for over 150 yards on them the week before. So I simply thought, hey, it's going to be windy, just like it was. It's going to be hard for both teams to throw the ball. And the Ravens have the best run game in the league. The only team that might be able to rival them would be Derrick Henry. And so, versus a mediocre run defense, then I thought that the pass game deficiencies of the Ravens wouldn't have to show up, but they end up showing up.
Is there a difference in defending the run game and defending a mobile quarterback, a scrambling quarterback like Deshaun? Is there a difference in that, or is it all?
There is a difference, but defending the Ravens and defending the Texans is two different things, right? The Ravens are, if the Ravens could, they would run the ball every play, right? Where the Texans aren't doing that, right? You still have both quarterbacks that are mobile, right? But if Greg Roman could call 65 runs, he would call 65 runs. And they would never throw the ball, right? And so when the defense has to prepare for that, they're preparing, hey, just to stop the run. But once Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, was like, hey, we ain't having it today. No, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we force Lamar Jackson to play pocket quarterback. We're not going to try to rush him off the end. We're going to play contain. We're going to push the pocket in his face and see, hey, can you be Peyton Manning, Tom Brady? Can you be that? And if you can't, you're going to lose, right? And he had issues. Now, there's a myriad of reasons why he had issues, but he had issues. Those issues came to bear, and they weren't able to win. And so, so you have that there.
All right. So the Ravens versus the Bills. Obviously, I picked the Bills. And my reason in picking the Bills is because, like I said, I always take a quarterback who leans more on their arm than their legs. So obviously, I've had my gripe with Lamar Jackson or whatever. I don't even say gripe, just my own personal opinion about him. And I want to have this conversation in a way that, like, is not redundant of, like, past podcasts.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's fine. We can add some more layers, Edward. Go ahead. We can get deeper into the weeds.
All right, bro. So, Christian, bro, I really be studying. Like I pick, but I really be trying to like pay attention to what you be saying.
Yeah.
What I was talking to Daisy earlier, and I think and Isaac said it earlier before we even got there, is that sometimes like you overthink and like your mind gets in the like what gets in the way. And I feel like your thought process regarding around Lamar Jackson, I feel like you believe in him because you see what he could be and you don't judge him for what he's been doing. And so when I look at Lamar Jackson, I see a player who is one-dimensional. I see a player who is not that great at throwing the football. The argument to that, he don't have great receivers, Edward. The number one favorite excuse now is Greg Roman. He needs to get put out of there, get him some help. And I don't believe that to be true because, like, Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator last year. Mm-hmm. And this is the same Greg Roman who got Lamar Jackson into being a MVP of last year. This is the same Greg Roman who, and I looked at the receiving core and I was like, okay, the receiving core it's not that different from the receiving core of last year. So Lamar Jackson had 36 touchdowns last year. This year he has 26 touchdowns. So there's going to be nit and tuck and push and pull on this as being Greg Roman's fault. This is also another excuse is, he hasn't been the lead that long. But give him some time. And just how I feel like for certain players, I feel like just how we can see the potential of certain players not being that guy, I feel like we should also be able to have that same eye and say, this player isn't who we think he is. And I'm saying that right now. And so when it comes to Lamar Jackson, down the road, maybe dude throwing ability could get better. And also right with Greg Roman, and with the clip you sent me early on the QB coach, Christian, is like, I'm saying Lamar Jackson ain't that great of a thrower. I feel like with you talking about X's and O's, you're saying, well, he's not being put in given opportunities or being put in positions to be able to make certain throws or make throws down the field. And so it's just like, I think Greg Roman be seeing Lamar Jackson every day at practice. It's just a hunch that I think he see him every day at practice and may know what his abilities are as a throwing quarterback. Because again, this is the same Greg Roman who had them at 14-2 last year. This is the same Greg Roman, MVP. So what's so different? Like, was the play calling that atrocious last year compared to this year?
Gotcha. So the difference between there's a few things that are different between what's going on now and what happened last year, right? The number one actual difference has nothing to do with Lamar, Greg Roman, or his receiving core, right? Last year they had the best offensive line in the game, right? And one of the offensive linemen, Marshall Yanda, who's going to be retired, right? And they also, I forgot who was their tackle that they lost this year. They lost a tackle this year as well. So I forgot who it was. And all year they since then they had been rotating Orlando Brown around the line, right? So the offensive line hasn't been as good as it was last year. Because the offensive line wasn't as good as it was last year, when they were running the ball and killing everybody, how they looked the last 3 weeks of the season is how they looked all year last year, right? Lamar wasn't forced, right? Lamar wasn't forced to throw the ball like he has been last year, because, hey, they had the greatest offensive line. They could run it whatever they wanted to. Also, Greg Roman was not forced to advance his pass game offense because everything he ran as far as the run game is concerned worked so well that he didn't have to, right? And the play action off of that was fine, right? So it was good enough what was going on last year. Whenever they were forced, only 3 times that year, they were forced to try to play from behind. They lost, right? All the games they won last year, they were in the lead. They got to run the ball and do all that stuff, right? Whenever they were forced to try to throw the ball, they lost last year. So the same thing happened.
I will concede to this, Christian. I will concede to this because football is the purest form of a team sport.
It is.
I will concede to the fact that the Baltimore Ravens' woes is not placed solely on Lamar Jackson's shoulders. Even though he's the quarterback, and that's the narrative that the media will always go with. If you win, it's all high praise. If you lose, it's all. I will not put all the blame on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens' woes. Coaching, play calling, drawing up, yes. My question to you is, how much responsibility does Lamar Jackson hold for the Baltimore Ravens' woes, or their passing deficiencies, as you like to say? How much responsibility does he deserve?
I give him probably 40%. 40%.
I was about to say 30 to 35.
I'll put 40% on his shoulders. And if you asked him, he would probably say 100% is on him, right? Because that's the type of guy he is, right?
That's the answer to the quarterback.
I would say 40% is directly on him, right? The video I sent you, there were some plays where, hey, if he just reads it correctly, there were 2 shots that he could have taken, and
like the interception, he pointed that too out down at the
the interception, yeah. But that, he messed that one up, but
quick question to continue your thought is and we're talking about the QB coach people. So hey, QB coach, put our boy Christian on your podcast. Or your show.
Shout out.
Christian, make sure you shout out the podcast when you go on the show, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right.
I will this time.
We
actually have a name now.
Right. We actually do have a name. Respect the game. But Christian, watching like X's and O's and like what you saw me, I was watching it and studying it today. How much is like reading film like subjective? Like is everything like bam, 1 + 1 = 2? Is it some of it like opinionated or subjective, like, oh, she went here, or this person was open, or this was
open? I would say for people who know football, about 99% of it is objective. I mean, it's pretty clear to see, well, I'll say maybe not.
And it's also to see something open when you go back and you don't like real time.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, so let's say someone like me, right? I've never played in the NFL, right? I just watched a lot of football. I've learned to watch film.
Wow, you never played?
Not in the NFL, bro.
Hey, my boy got a high school state championship.
Yeah.
What's the respect on it?
But someone like Lamar Jackson, though, right? This is his life. He gets paid millions of dollars to do this, right? If I could recognize as I'm watching a play, okay, this is the defense. This is the play that's being run. Oh, wow, these are the places that Lamar should be looking, right? I'm sure that Greg Roman, who makes millions to coach Lamar, and Lamar Jackson, who makes millions to throw balls, that throw passes, that he would.
You're learning that, Christian. You're learning.
that he would be able to see that, and he would, he'll go back on the sideline and be like, oh, dang, this is where I should have threw the ball, right? No, it's also something different. Hey, you got people flying at you at 1,000 miles an hour and all that stuff. So that's something he needs to improve on. But I mean, it's pretty objective. Hey, look, this is where the ball should go. I mean, it's it's pretty simple. Once you know the schemes and stuff like that, it's pretty simple to say, hey, the ball should go here.
Okay. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, in your film watching of Lamar Jackson, how many times when you watch a play, how many times do you say, damn, Lamar went here when he missed this read, when he could have went here, instead he took a sack or he threw it away? How many times? Is it mostly that you see that, or is it a rarity?
Probably like 30% of the time.
Yeah,
about 30% of the time. Well, at least in that game. Because of the position that they put them in. There was much more opportunity throughout that game for him to mess up.
Real quick, I want to read this quote from Steve Smith Jr. Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading it. I just believe Greg Roman is a fantastic coordinator. However, that fantastic coordinator needs to start looking for a job somewhere else, because I believe that his time has expired on this offense here, who played 2 seasons. Steve Smith played 2 seasons in Baltimore, 2014 to 2016. And so I would say this, for Lamar Jackson's sake, I want to see Greg Roman gone. I absolutely want to see Greg Roman gone, because I feel like that would be the only true
Bill O'Brien.
Wait a minute, Sedacious. No, you will not. You will not speed this up.
Bill O'Brien going to Alabama, dog.
I want to see.
Lame man.
I want to see Greg Roman gone, so we can put Lamar to the true test and get somebody else in there who's going to have him throwing the ball, so we can see if Lamar Jackson can Lamar Jackson truly get it on his arm, or was Lamar Jackson being limited because of the Greg Roman offense, and as Christian added, the offensive line being shaky. So, Greg Roman, I want you to be gone, not to lose your job, but so we can truly see what Lamar Jackson is made of. Since all of a sudden, Greg Roman is the biggest one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, I think we got to use a different word. I don't think that Greg Roman limited Lamar Jackson. I think that Greg Roman didn't put.
He did not limit him.
Go ahead, let him finish.
He put him in position to be the best version of himself, brother. And Lamar Jackson did himself.
Hold on, Greg Roman did not. Listen, Greg Roman did not limit Lamar Jackson.
No,
I wouldn't use that word. That's not the word I would use.
Y'all niggas were saying that all last week, bro.
I did not say that.
Christian was
use the word limit. I don't think we use the word limit.
Holding him back, not putting him in position. Like, what else?
Yeah, that's a difference. No,
what was you getting ready to say?
Edward. There's now, Edward. You know that we try to be very precise with our word usage on the podcast.
All right. So
hey, let me say this real quick. Let me sidebar real quick. Sidebar real quick. I've been meaning to say this on the podcast for like the last 5 episodes. Isaac and I got into an argument about a dynamic offense, and he was right. He won that argument last time. I just want to let it be known. When we talk about the Kansas City offense, you won that one that time. All right, but
thank you.
No, Greg. I don't think that Greg Roman has limited Lamar Jackson. I think that he has not put him in a position to allow him to flourish the best. Right. So let's say you guys like to say that Bill O'Brien limited Deshaun Watson. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between being an average guy, an average coordinator, and saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna help you to just get to the tip." Right.
I understand where you're coming from. Just in my mind, if I'm not putting you in the best position to be successful, I just consider that limited. But I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from.
Gotcha.
I understand. It's just a difference of interpretation. But I understand what you're saying.
So I think having an offensive coordinator come in and figure out a way to how can I make sure that I can scheme up half of Lamar Jackson's throws are wide open that he looks like Alabama quarterbacks. Right?
No shit.
Okay.
I was looking back at the Titans game from last year.
Huh?
And I was looking back at the Titans game from last year, and those were like the money, like, oh my God, Lamar, Marcus, is wide open. He better make that throw. But yeah.
So you had that sometime, but watch Sean McVay, what he does for Jared Goff, right? What Kyle Shanahan does with C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins, right? How many wide open guys there are over and over and over and over again, right? These are guys who are nowhere near top tier quarterbacks, right? So, that's what you need. If you get that, you'll see Lamar. Questions about him will start to dwindle, right? The same way it happened for Josh Allen.
So I understand everything that's surrounded around him, him having passing deficiency. Lamar's passing deficiencies isn't supposed to be solely on the fact that he can't throw. That's unfair.
And it's not like he can't throw. He throws well.
Okay, all right. That's fine. I hear you. I understand you. I don't believe in his throwing ability, and we can agree to disagree on that. That's fine. What is the timetable that you give Lamar Jackson so we can definitively say he can't get the job done? Is there a timetable for that, or do we have to wait till he has all the right
Mike Vick started learning how to read defenses when he first got to the Eagles. He didn't even watch.
Today, we talked about the non-silent gestures. What are you saying?
It's over.
It's not over. No, it's not over, man. They about to give him an extension, bruh.
Either Deshaun Watson got to win championships out of that AFC or Lamar Jackson. It can't be both of them. Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson time. Lamar Jackson is over for you. You just had your shot. Now it's over. Now it's Deshaun Watson's turn to bring championships out of AFC. Anybody want to
what team?
Anybody want to debunk that? Go ahead, be my guest.
Wait, Deshaun Watson was what team?
Exactly. So don't even pay attention to him right now until he coaches another team.
I got my money on Deshaun Watson in the Texans before I put it on Lamar Jackson.
He ain't playing another game.
He might not play for the Texans this year. What are you talking
he got
about?
traded?
No, he
Not yet, but
he played another. Come on, bro. The damage is done.
But no, but Christian.
Hey, look. The Ravens are about to extend him. Okay, he's gonna have another 4 or 5 years to try to prove it.
Okay, but like, is there a timetable? Or do we have to wait till he has all the right pieces around him to say, all right, then he's got all the help? Like, what I'm asking you is, I already see this, but nobody else sees it. I already see. I don't think he can get the job done with his throwing ability unless it drastically improves. And like I said, I will admit that. But what I'm asking you specifically, what it's the word I'm looking for that I can't.
I ain't gonna lie, you taking your time down through here like Pastor to get to this point. You really making sure you driving home to brother man.
2 years,
definitely,
for
sure.
You did. You took
2 years. 2 years.
No matter what his circumstances are.
I think I believe in the Ravens.
What scenario does he need to be in for it to be fair to judge him? Is what I'm saying.
Good question.
Man,
what scenario needs to be around?
It's fair to judge him now. It's fair to judge him now. That's fine. You can judge him now, but I think within 2 years, the Ravens organization, the great organization, they're going to get him the help that he needs. They're going to get him the offense that he needs, if that's with Greg Roman or without him. And you're going to see him thrive in the playoffs. And this question on, can he do it, is not going to be the question anymore.
I would like to see him with a big name receiver.
I think it's a tale of two franchises, and I'll leave it off at this. The Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, care deeply about the players that they have and intelligently construct a team around their players' strengths. Oh my God, wow, they do that? On the other hand, you have the Texans that do everything on God's green earth possible to sabotage the fucking ship from head to toe at every given turn, including personnel decisions, not excluding front office personnel. And I will politely.
Yeah.
So
another point of the Texans.
I digress.
They got 3 interviews with black coaches coming up this week,
and none of them are gonna get the job. But they might because they scared. They probably
They
really scared about
Deshaun. I don't think Deshaun's going anywhere because they're trying to because I don't see any reports of them interviewing anybody else other than these 3 guys. So you have David Culley, who's the assistant head coach and wide receiver coach for the Ravens, who I think he would be more of like a CEO head coach type guy. I don't think he's gonna be running the offense. You have Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator for the Bills. He's been a head coach before for the Vikings. Didn't have a great stint with them, but
since we're on the Texans, Christian, I think it's fair to bring you before the court and ask you what happened to your Tim Kelly theory. Since we just on the Texans,
I mean, I think he got better, but I still think I would put him towards the bottom of the league as offense.
He's trash, court adjourned.
I mean, he got
I'm
better.
just saying, according to Christian, Deshaun Watson was going to continue to plummet. That's all I'm saying.
I thought he was gonna. I was just going based off what he was doing at the time, just like what you're doing with Lamar Jackson. But he overcame every circumstance that was around him.
What circumstances?
Yes.
I want to
He had a terrible offensive
Christian.
He had a terrible offensive line. He had no running game. He had a terrible defense, terrible special teams, and a terrible play caller. And he was the best quarterback in the league this year.
Nothing about the head coach has made anything tilt.
Sure, and he lost Bill O'Brien.
There's no convincing you, sir. I get it.
He lost Bill O'Brien.
But all right, so now the table is finally set. We have the Bills and Josh Allen going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we got do y'all want to break down? Future leaders in podcasting. Everybody can attest to this. I called Drew Brees interception right before it happened.
It did. In my defense, I did call it along with you. You said he was good for another one, and I did quickly agree. As the text thread will suffice and show proof.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. But
I can speak to that.
Huh?
I can speak to that. There's some truth to that.
Yeah. Josh Allen going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's
Right.
pretty. I think it's fair to say. Well, I don't know if fair is even a fair word, but I think we're all in hopes that Patrick Mahomes will play. He had the concussion against the Browns late in the fourth quarter. Then we have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, we could do it simultaneously, picks and break those games down. We got about like 15 minutes left. So let me get my pen and go ahead and get y'all boys picks down. Get y'all picks. We'll do, since the Dash has got the Josh Allen tape, we're gonna close out with that. So let's go Tom and the Packers first.
Well, I got Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron is going to show that he is a better all-around quarterback than Tom Brady. He is.
Sedacious, who you got, bro?
I got Aaron Rodgers. I ain't gonna lie. I got the Packers because I don't think that the Tampa Bay defense can contain that offense.
Izzo, who you got?
Mark me down for Thomas Patrick Edward Brady.
Dang, bro, I was hoping all y'all with the Packers, bro. I want to be on the island by myself.
But I do need to make this known as well. I did throughout the beginning of the year, I did call the Packers to the NFC Championship.
Isaac did do that.
Did.
Isaac did call that.
I definitely
point blank,
did.
period.
I did.
But you got Tom. But
This
Tom,
is where I get off the ship.
Oh, that's fair. You didn't say they was gonna win. You just said they was.
I didn't say they was gonna win. I did say they was gonna get that though.
Yeah.
But man, I just from what I saw from Ronald Jones, and I know he ain't supposed to evaluate, so I'm not, man. But what I saw from Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette,
hey, you good, bro? You good? We only got 2 games this
week. From what I saw from them, from like a running back course standpoint, I like Ronald Jones being an explosive back, and I like Leonard Fournette picking up the hard-earned yards. But I don't think the Packers had a personnel on the back end as far as the DBs to hang with this receiving core that they know. Don't you do it, Coach. Who gonna wait?
No, wait. We're gonna get to that. We gotta get Darnell pick. We gotta get Darnell pick. Who you picking, Darnell?
Give me Cole. TB12 and them. TB12 and them. That's exactly the reason why I'm even picking.
I thought y'all was gonna take the Packers, baby, man.
No, sir. No, sir. TB12 and TB12 in postseason is like LeBron.
I mean, pretty much what Darnell said. I'm not going against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Like, I'm perfectly okay with dying on that sword. Point blank.
Yes, sir. I'll live with that.
Like, it's no X's and O's around it. It's just some people find a way to no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the X's and O's say, you want a guy on your team that you know can find a way to get the job done more times than not. Period. Simple and plain.
No matter what the personnel is.
Talent is. I don't care what they finally playing in Lambeau. He been playing in for umpteen years. He ain't been in Tampa that long. So I don't think the weather gonna have too much of a factor for Tom Brady. So I'm going with the Bucks.
What's up?
I want to make this very perfectly plain. I like Jair Alexander a lot. I think he's a superstar. I think he's a great corner. I think he's a great cover guy. Yeah. Brother, he gonna need by 4 of him on the field in order for this thing to go right. Because I don't see their nickel corner winning the slot matchup with Antonio Brown. That's dead. They don't have a nickel on that team that can stay with AB. They don't even have a number 2 who can stay with Godwin. And that's facts. And I don't like their safeties to be able to cover Bray or Gronkowski. I don't like the matchup. The game, when it's in the playoffs, brother, you know this better than anybody. It is a game of matchup. If you are not able to match up,
it is a game of matchup. It is a game of matchups. But I think they're built to defend versus the passing game, man. Their front seven gets after the quarterback very well. They're able to cover in the back. They play a lot of zone too, so that
But are they good enough to stop Tom Brady postseason?
Also, too, I don't necessarily think that they're gonna have to.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, bro, I can see this being like a 37-35 type game, bro.
Christian, are you talking from a talent perspective of Aaron Rodgers, or are you talking from an X's and O's perspective?
Talent X's and O's. I can see.
No. Which one, Christian?
I mean, both. I mean, it's no.
No, pick. No, okay.
All right, restate your question. Restate your question. Say it
Are
again.
you leaning more on talent with your pick, or more X's and O's for picking the Packers? Because you said you believe Aaron Rodgers is gonna show he's a better overall quarterback. So are you leaning on talent, or are you leaning on X's and O's to pick the Packers over the?
And y'all know now I ain't doing no evaluating for my Mahomes and Bills pick. Ain't no damn evaluation needed.
Yeah, just press the home on it. My bad, John. My bad.
You good, fam?
I'll say X's and O's. I think they have a better offense than the Bucs do. X's and O's wise.
You're gonna die with them X's and O's. All right, so moving
I don't
on.
have to eat them fucking words. I'm telling you that now.
We're gonna eat them together, Christian, because I don't see it. I don't see it.
That's fine.
Why you don't
Ronald Jones played.
Also too, hey, the Bucs
may roll if Ronald Jones is healthy.
I see Zadarius
They
Smith.
might listen. You're talking about Isaac. You keep talking about
Yes, sir.
what their offense is going to do to the Packers defense. That's fine. Again, like I said,
I think the Buccaneers defense will make timely stops like they did last
That's
week.
his problem.
here's the thing though. They're not facing.
Get in there, bro.
Man, stop it right
They're
now.
also not facing. They're not facing a noodle arm Drew Brees. Okay, they can play the defense they played last week
He's gonna
versus
shoot
the
threes
Saints,
all over the field.
right? They have the number 29 passing defense. They had a number 1 rushing defense. That's number 29th passing defense throughout the season.
Christian, them numbers are gonna kill you, bro. You better know when to just like.
You have to
Bro,
know the
this is the thorn.
And
in
you
the eye
better,
of
and
X's
you,
O's,
and for
bro.
your
Why would
sake, you
go
better
against
hope they
talent,
ball
bro?
out.
Who has the number 29 passing defense? The Bucks?
The Bucs.
Okay, well you following
So
this
today-
one too.
I
So
don't
they
see nobody in that
X's and
secondary that's
O's.
gonna stop your boy Devontae Adams.
We ain't gonna need
Okay.
to. We gonna double them all game.
Okay, so if there's no true X's and O's if there's no true like off the wall pick in terms of us all picking the Chiefs, I'll let Sedacious give us his Josh Allen Bills theory. So are we all going with the Chiefs versus
Everybody
the
pick
Bills?
Yes. For
We
reasons
don't know if
not
Patrick
need
Mahomes
to
is
be
playing or
explained.
not.
If Patrick Mahomes is
Man,
No, see, we can't do
you
that.
think
Homeboy
the NFL
playing.
gonna
Hit me up
miss-
today.
The NFL gonna miss out on money and he not gonna play. They're
If-
not gonna sacrifice ratings.
You hear this?
He is gonna
This
get
is it
pushed.
right here.
He is gonna
If
get
Patrick
pushed.
Mahomes is playing,
Who wanna bet? Who wanna
with
bet
the
he's playing?
Chiefs. If
Who wanna
Patrick
bet he's
Mahomes
playing?
is not playing, I'm going with the Chiefs.
You see that, Edward? You see how that go? You see how that go? If Patrick Mahomes is playing, let's not exalt Josh Allen just yet. But if Patrick Mahomes is out of this game and it's Chad Henne, let's just go ahead and give Josh Allen the kings of the kingdom.
All right.
And
So
just
we
put
all
him on top.
If the Chiefs are, if the Chiefs playing, if Patrick Mahomes is playing, we all got the Chiefs. That's solidified. Sedacious, for our new listeners, go back and watch a couple podcasts. Sedacious has not been on the Josh Allen bandwagon, so help him God. Sedacious, share with me your take on not just Josh Allen, but the Bills. Share with the listeners, the podcasters, and everybody else what you shared with me earlier when we was on the phone.
Okay, so pretty much I think Josh Allen is still fluky. I feel like Stephon Diggs being acquired helped Josh Allen out a lot. I think people think that since Josh Allen is doing good, Stephon Diggs' production has gotten better, but it's now Stephon Diggs is there. Stephon Diggs gets open the fastest in any receiver in the league within 20 yards. Stephon Diggs is the fastest receiver to get open the fastest within 20 yards. I feel like if, like to Darnell's sentiment earlier, if you give Lamar Jackson a big name receiver, then we really don't know, man, because you see what happened to Deshaun Watson once they took D-Hop. So I feel like you just gave a sorry-ass quarterback a D-Hop, and then he started to do a little better than projected. Then all of a sudden, Josh Allen is the man. So this is what we was talking about earlier. I feel like the NFL does this programming, throughout the years. I feel like it happened.
And don't cut them off. Don't cut them off. Let them finish all the way through.
I feel like it happened with the discount double check. When Aaron Rodgers did the discount double check, it's like all of a sudden, like the NFL kind of like molded it to where, okay, well, we're going to give you a WCW championship at the end of this year. I really hate to go here. I really hate nobody burn down my house. But with the Katrina thing, when Katrina happened, it was like, lo and behold, the Saints is finna come and it's finna be a magnificent story. And they took the championship that year. Beat Peyton Manning. Or did they beat Peyton Manning? Whoever they beat. I'm like,
I beat the Bears.
Yes, sir.
The Bears.
Yes,
I couldn't believe it. Tom Brady's story. Tom Brady to have the greatest legacy, I feel like that's like a plan. You know what I'm saying? That's an agenda that the NFL had. Saying all that bullshit to say, even with Russell Wilson, with him being the third string quarterback, first year, second year coming to win a Super Bowl, that was an agenda. Legion of Boom, that was a series, a show that the NFL wanted to show us a phase, right? So don't be surprised if the NFL is gearing up the Buffalo Bills for this same type of mantra, for the same type of escapade, to where it's, don't get me wrong, your boy's injury looked pretty serious. Patrick Mahomes got up and he was wobbling. But when I seen that he's in concussion protocol and he didn't come out like the first day after the game, well, now they're going to wait all the way until
you don't come out
all the way until, because it's Lamar Jackson still in concussion protocol.
Nigga, he's at home. We don't give a fuck.
All right. So evidently you can come out of concussion protocol before the next week, right?
Yes.
So what are you talking about now?
Bruh.
He's at home.
Hey,
No. What are you talking about as far as Patrick Mahomes?
Said he passed all his tests?
As far as Patrick Mahomes.
Bro, it is like
Andy Reid
just got hurt a day ago.
So can he come out of concussion protocol?
After
Can he come out before the game?
Out, bro.
Right, so what did you bring that up for?
He's out.
All right. So
he's not out.
So get ready, America. Get
He's
ready.
going through protocol right now.
Get ready for the Buffalo Bills. If he don't make it through protocol, and Chad Henne happens to start this game, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same NFL agenda that I've always said. They tried that. This is what the NFL does, and then now it's gonna be the Buffalo Bills. Now it's y'all time. Now Kansas City, y'all out of there. Now Buffalo is y'all time. It happened with Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City.
It was at their time in the early 90s.
Let them finish.
No, Darnell know what I'm saying, because when T.O. came to the Eagles, it happened. It was like, okay, T.O. with Diamond McNabb, let's build this story up until, no, we want Bill Belichick's and Tom Brady's story to start right here. And then boom, and then it just...
Did you just compare...
all the stories that the NFL tried to give us.
Hey,
I feel like this is one.
I think
if the Buffalo Bills,
I'm
telling you, if the Buffalo Bills beat the Chiefs, there's no way that they don't win the Super Bowl. And what I am saying is going to come to fruition. There's no... All right.
Please, bet me your money that if the Bills beat the Chiefs this Sunday, you got them to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Please.
Hey,
we ain't even put a amount on that.
Sedacious is
take the Packers or the Bucks over there.
Sedacious, your take brings me to my take that I say, like, it's probably not a hot take, but I feel like this is the Bucks Super Bowl this week. If they beat the Packers, it don't matter if it's Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. I feel like they're gonna debunk. If it's the Bills, they're gonna debunk that Bills storyline. So if the
I'm
Bucks win,
hoping so.
Tom Brady
I'm tired of Josh Allen, so I'm hoping
in
so.
Tampa Bay.
This is what I think they're doing to Josh
You
Allen.
heard what Tom Brady said.
I think they're
He ain't watching the Super Bowl again.
bro, because nobody was talking about nobody put Josh Allen
That's hard.
in
That's
the
hard.
same conversation until like 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Nobody put Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the same conversation until about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Now it's almost like
Nah, it's fresh, man.
he's going about the
People talking
same
about him
shit
since he
Patrick
got
Mahomes.
drafted.
Whoa, bro, that shit began the year, bro. I mean,
The Patrick Mahomes stuff.
the uprise of
No. I mean, they had to start getting traction first. Once they got the 4th or 5th win, that's when it was like, okay, let's look at this team now. And then when they start looking at him, it's like, okay, Josh Allen might be looking like Patrick Mahomes over there. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
You and Kyrie, man, y'all been like hanging out too much, bro. You and Kyrie, dog.
He come at Kyrie? That's insensitive, Christian.
Kyrie, I'm just saying. I think y'all been hanging out too much. You know what I'm saying? The conspiracy theory.
Y'all have anything else to add on
all right.
NFL playoffs this week, or we can get out of here?
I can't hear this. The Buffalo Bills since 1995.
Hey,
you better believe. Hey, you better believe they gonna run back that 30 for 30 of the Bills losing 3 or 4 straight. Super Bowl 4, yeah. You better believe they gonna that storyline. Boy, ESPN gonna have a whole rollout of all the players from back then.
Oh, Pucci, Edward gives you. Edward, this is the story. I'm telling you, when it happens, they're gonna sell the 40 to 30 for 30. They're gonna resell that story.
If
they're
y'all, bro, if this happens, bro, our podcast
it's not gonna happen,
dog.
It's not gonna happen.
We need 1 million views if this happens, dog.
It's not gonna happen.
Okay, so so if Patrick Mahomes is ruled out,
he's not gonna be ruled out.
It's gonna be downhill from there.
He's gonna play.
that's a strong stipulation, though.
What if
Just so
it happens with him playing?
Right. If the Buffalo Bills happen to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I ain't gonna know.
So do you want to put money on this game if Patrick Mahomes plays?
I'm not.
This is the same nigga who talked exactly. But you will put money on to win a Super Bowl.
Because of my story, because of my theory.
Yeah,
right. Right. We all
I like
agree,
it,
right?
bro.
Fucking Mahomes.
I can't even lie. I like it.
Yo,
We all agree. And y'all would want me to have my money if I was right. Y'all gonna be like, Isaac, pay that.
Yo, beautiful people. We
Y'all
appreciate
gonna be like,
y'all
"Hey,
for tuning into the podcast. If what happens this playoff season, what Sedacious is saying that happens, we need 1 million views and we need to take off because we keep giving y'all these futuristic predictions that are coming to fruition. So we may change the podcast name to just Profits.
Live
I
Adamas.
want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
Live
As the only
Adamas.
Cowboy fan on here, I hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah, aight, nigga.
Yo, man.
But it happened with Green Bay. It happened with the Saints. It happened with Green Bay and the Saints. It's like, oh, in New York. I'm sorry, I left Eli Manning out of it. Like, they built the story with New York. They let the Patriots win 18 games and let New York have to win 4 on the road games to get to that Super Bowl to beat the Patriots. Like, who saw that shit coming?
Right, who saw the David Tyree coming? The NFL did not do that.
Hey, I'm gonna say this to sign us out. We all thought Christian sounded crazy when he said Deshaun should request a trade. So Sedacious, your time is coming, my brother. Respect the Game podcast, man. Follow at Emax Stacks. Follow Coach Johnson at Quaz the Motor on Twitter. Follow my boy Shine Heart Izzo. Follow my boy at Sedacious at Live the Rapper. And make sure you listening to this. Well, it's 1A, 1B, 1A, 1A. The other podcast you need to be making sure you listen to is All the Smoke with our brother Black Peace. If you ain't listening to that, you ain't listening to us. What did I say?
Talking Smoke.
Oh, Talking Smoke. I said
all the smoke. We want all the smoke.
Make sure you listening to Talking Smoke with Black Peace. If you're not listening to it, you know what type of person you is. All right, man. We signing out. See y'all next week.